Hello Lions, welcome to Mr. Shepherd's Neighborhood. What I want to do is take a look at some attacks in war, some attacks that we've done, and also some attacks that are done on us, so we can look at areas of where we can improve both offensively and defensively. Today we're just going to be looking at some Town Hall 8s from our most recent war, and in the future we will start looking at some Town Hall 9s as well. So let's jump right in. We're going to look at this last war against Lords of War, which unfortunately we lost. But the first attack I want to look at is going to be Troy's attack, 3-star attack here on layer number 25. I'm going to bring up this base layout, and then we're going to jump over to Sketch here for a second. Alright, so here we go. This is Troy's attack on 25. You look at this base, the first thing you should see is that the air defenses are all underdeveloped for a Town Hall 8. These are level 4 air defenses, which means this base is ripe for any kind of air attack. Troy decides to go with an all-drag, but you could do a drag loon, you could do a balloonian, you could do just about any kind of air attack because these air defenses are so weak. Troy does an all-drag with a couple little twists. One I would not recommend most people try, and one that's actually great. Nothing against you, Troy, but it's really unique. This first thing, what he does, he brings his dragons in from the northwest, but he only brings a couple at first, and he has them create a funnel from the inside out. Usually you do a funnel from the outside in. His go inside out, so he brings them where he eventually wants his main force to go, and he has them work kind of side to side, starting from the inside out to create the funnel. And then as they do that, he drops the main body of his army, and they have no choice but to go straight in because they're going towards the nearest building. And you want to get those dragons into the air defense as fast as possible. A lot of times I see people take the dragons away from the air defenses. That's not what you want to do. You want to get them in there to really take out that air defense before it can do too much damage. So that's his first goal. And then he does something that's really, really neat and creative. He actually brings hogs in his clan castle, and he drops his hogs right about over here to take out that third air defense that's kind of by itself. Which is one way to do it. You could use lightning, you could bring balloons. He goes with hogs, and it really is a great idea because if you look, there's no defenses in this whole area to distract the hogs from going straight at the air defense. So the only thing you have to worry about is the other defenses that could be attacking the hogs. When you have you have this cannon, you have this archer tower, this archer tower up here. Any of those could be aiming at the hogs, so that's the only thing you have to worry about. And what Troy does to prevent that is, again, he gets creative, and he actually drops his barbarian king right over here to distract some of that defense from going after his hogs. So it's really a neat attack. He gets the 3-star. I don't know if it works against against an upgraded air defense, against a 5 or 6, just because of that kind of inside-out funnel strategy. But hey, he got the 3-star in this one, and that's what matters. So let's take a look. All right, here we go. Here's Troy's attack. You're going to see first he drops just a couple dragons here, right where he wants his main army eventually to go. And then all they do is they wind up working from the inside out to clear the funnel, which is, again, a little unorthodox. Usually you do your funnel from the outside in, but it works in this case because he doesn't drop them all at once. But you'll see he slowly starts to add them in. He kicks in a rage. The ones on the outside are clearing those outside buildings, and the ones on the inside now are more inclined to go straight in at those air defenses in the middle. Got some good work going on. And you see there's the king. He goes down. He starts distracting some fire, and then there go the hogs. Now the only correction I would make on this, Troy, I'm sure you see it, is maybe bring your clan castle down a little bit, drop it maybe even a little closer to your king. Then you won't have that distraction. You saw it kind of go for the archer tower first, but it wound up not mattering because everything was being distracted anyway, and his hogs lasted a while. So it really worked out well. Then you can see it's just clean up from here, and as long as you have 4 or 5 dragons still up level 3 or higher, they're gonna do the job for you. There isn't enough defense from archer towers, Tessels, and wizard towers to take out that many dragons. So we'll go ahead and speed it up here. We'll speed through the finish, and Troy picks up the 3-star. Nice attack, Troy. Alright. Let's go ahead and take a look at another one here. This time I want to take a look at number 22. Now, but before we do, I want to just show you the attacks that we had on 22 in this war. There were actually 3 different attacks. We still didn't get the 3-star. And the problem here really was base identification. So you look here, you start out, Thor gets a 73% 2-star, which is totally acceptable for a blind attack as far as a result. But the strategy he used wasn't great. Not to call you out, Thor, not to call anybody out. This is for all of us to get better. But then you'll look again here, and you'll see a little further along in war, Poke gets a 1-star on there. And then Ecom, who is a Town Hall 9, again only gets a 2-star. It's an 88% 2-star, but it's still a 2-star. And the reason I want to show this is both Thor and Poke tried dragons, and Ecom, I think, tried dragons as well, actually. And if you look at this base, this is going to speak to base identification, which is something we all need to work on. This is not a very good base to dragon. It is way too spread out. The dragons are slow, and they take a long time, and they go to whatever the nearest building is. So all that time they're spending flying from building to building, they're going to be under fire if you can't eliminate those air defenses early. And similarly, this actually is not a good base for hogs because there's a lot of spaces here where there can be giant double bombs that'll just eliminate your attack. You see a base like this that's really spread out, really wide open, not a lot of walls. First thing you should think of is either a go wipe or a go wee wee. Those attacks work really well against spread out open bases because the biggest obstacle for P.E.K.K.A.s is walls, and this way they don't have to work their way through walls. And the great thing about witches is those skeletons they spawn will get out there and they'll trigger all kinds of traps so that the witches don't and the wizards don't run into them. Either way, you just need something with a lot of cleanup crew, and you need troops that can get around. So nobody in our clan actually attacked this base with one of those styles, and that really would have been perfect for this base. So anytime you see something open like this, start to think go wipe or go wee wee. So we're actually not going to check out any of the replays on this one. This is just kind of a little bit of education for everyone. The last thing I want to get to is I want to take a look at an attack on one of our guys, and that is Eric. I'm going to hop over to Skitch here real quick. Okay, so taking a look at Eric's base here. In this last war, Eric got 3-starred by an all-dragon attack. And I don't know if this is, the first time that he's ever been attacked by dragons or not. But, just try to keep an eye on your own base and look for ways you can improve it. So I'm going to pick on Eric here just a little bit. Just some ways that he can improve his base design. So, how is someone who attacks with dragons going to attack my base? It's going to be exactly like we just talked about. They're going after your air defenses. They want to take them down as fast as possible. So in order to combat that, there's a couple things you can do. One is you look at where your air defenses are, and in between there and the edges, make sure that you've got your air mines and your air bombs. When we watch Eric's replay, you'll see only one air trap goes off between the time the raid starts and all 3 air defenses are down. So move some of your air bombs and air mines closer to your air defenses or in between those defenses and the edges, and they'll do a great job of slowing down those dragons. The other thing that can slow down those dragons are these wonderful high hit point buildings like your gold storage, your elixir storage, your dark elixir storage. These all have a ton of hit points. And we all know dragons are stupid, right? They will go for the nearest building and they'll also take forever to knock some buildings down. So instead of these being in the middle of your base, you put these on the perimeter of your base. You put them in between where somebody is most likely to drop dragons to come after you, and they will do a heck of a job of slowing down the dragons, which means it's just more time that your air defenses can attack those dragons. And one or two dragons, you being able to take down one or two dragons can be the difference sometimes between you getting 3-starred and 2-starred. Maybe even 1-starred. Sometimes that town hall is the last thing to go after. So let's take a look at this raid real quick. Alright, here we go. So we're going to take a look at the attack on Eric that we just talked about. So this is not, for all intents and purposes, this is not a great attack by the opponent. It's just effective because of the base layout. And hey, look, in these wars, our Town Hall 8s, you guys should expect to get 3-starred. It's just, the way it is. So don't be upset if you get 3-starred. The goal is just try and make our opponent use as many attacks as possible to get that 3rd star on you. Make them have a Town Hall 9 drop down. That helps us because that's one less Town Hall 9 that person can attack. There's only so much you can do. There's only so many defenses you have. You're trying to upgrade things, obviously. This guy even brought hogs in his clan castle, similar to what we saw Troy do, just to make sure that that 3rd air defense went down. So he may have gotten the 3-star anyway, but if you take some of these tips, you move your high hit point buildings in front of your air defenses to slow down the dragons. You put some of your air mines, your air bombs near there to also protect them a little bit. That'll help. That'll hopefully make a difference. That's it for this first video on Town Hall 8s. I'm going to work on one for Town Hall 9s next. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments or ask in chat. If you like this, if you don't like this, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. I'm going to do it for a little while. We'll see how it goes. Let's clash on, guys. Let's get some wins for the Lions.